Rounding numbers. It might seem like just some simple trick from math class, right? But it's actually one of the most practical tools we use every single day to make sense of the world around us. It's a really elegant solution to a surprisingly common problem.
I mean, just imagine trying to tell a friend about a town with a population of 692,769. Yeah, it's technically correct, but wow, what a mouthful. Is all that detail really what you need to say?
And that's the thing, right? Sometimes perfect numbers are just a pain. You never tell someone a trip takes exactly 18 minutes and 45 seconds. You just say, oh, it's about 20 minutes. Perfect accuracy isn't always the most useful thing in a normal conversation.
So that's what we're talking about here in our first section, the problem with perfect numbers. It's an issue we all run into, but luckily it has a simple, elegant solution we all kind of know.
And this is where rounding comes in. It's kind of the hero of our story, really. It's just the skill of taking a super precise number and simplifying it, finding a nearby landmark number that's way easier to remember and work with.
For instance, if you counted out exactly 73 apples, you'd probably just tell someone you have about 70. It gets the point across fast, and you don't lose the important part of the message. So, okay, how does this magic actually work? Well, this is where rounding comes to the rescue. And believe it or not, it all boils down to one super simple rule.
And the secret? It's this awesome little rhyme I bet you've heard before. 5 to 9, climb the vine. 0 to 4, slide to the floor. If you can lock this into your brain, you can round pretty much any number you come across.
So, what in the world does that actually mean? Well, the digit just to the right of the place you're rounding to, that's your secret code. If that digit is anything from 0 to 4, you slide to the floor, you round down. And if it's 5 through 9, you climb the vine, you round up. It's really that simple.
All right, let's actually put this 5 or more rule to the test. Let's see how it works in the real world. Okay, let's start with the basics, rounding to the nearest 10. To pull this off, you only need to look at one little thing, the digit in the ones place. That one number holds all the power. Okay, check these out. For the number 23, we look at the 3. It's less than 5, so we slide to the floor. It rounds down to 20. Simple. For 68, we look at the 8. Now that's 5 or more, so we climb the vine all the way up to 70. And what about 35? Well, the rule is 5 or more rounds up, so that 5 tells us to climb 240.
And here's the best part. You don't have to learn a whole new set of rules for bigger numbers. The exact same logic works whether you're rounding to the nearest 100, 1,000, or even a million. You always just look one place to the right of your target.
Yeah, this table just lays it all out so clearly. To round to the 10, you look at the ones. To round to the 100, you look at the tens. For the 1,000, you look at the hundreds. See that pattern? It's always the next-door neighbor to the right that calls the shots.
All right, let's do another one together. Our mission is to round 475 to the nearest 100. So our target rounding digit is the 4 in the hundreds place. That means we have to look at its neighbor to the right, which is the 7 in the tens place. So because that 7 is 5 or more, it tells the 4, hey, climb the vine. The 4 bumps up to a 5, and then we just tidy up by changing the other digits to zeros. So 475 rounds up to a nice, clean 500. See? Okay, so we've seen this work for tens and hundreds. Now let's pull it all together into one big master rule for rounding in action.
Seriously, it all just boils down to these 5 simple steps, and this works for any number. Whole numbers, decimals, you name it. 1. Find your target digit. 2. Look next door to the right. 3. If that neighbor is 5 or more, your target goes up by 1. 4. If it's less than 5, your target just stays put. And 5. Tidy up everything else. For whole numbers, they become zeros. For decimals, you can usually just drop them.
But listen, this isn't just some abstract math problem. This is something you use all the time. Rounding is basically your everyday superpower.
I mean, just stop and think about how often you do this without even noticing. That price tag for $2.99? Nah, it's about $3. The time is 8:32. You say it's around 8:30. A recipe calls for 2.7 cups of flour. You're just going to use 3. Estimating your travel time, guessing how many jelly beans are in a jar? It's all rounding.
And that right there, that's the whole point. The big takeaway is that rounding isn't just a math lesson. It's a practical skill we use all the time. It's a tool for thinking fast and communicating clearly. So really, when you get right down to it, rounding is all about making a choice. You're consciously trading that perfect, sometimes clunky, accuracy
for some really practical and elegant simplicity.
Yeah, a rounded number is just an approximation, right? It's not the exact value. But you know what? In so many real-world situations, that simpler, easier-to-use approximation is actually way more useful.
So we know that approximation makes life a whole lot easier, which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a world where close enough is so often good enough, when is being exact the only thing that truly matters?